Welcome forward to day 28 of our reflections on St. Joseph. And the theme, again coming from the litany to St. Joseph, is Comforter of the Afflicted. And as soon as we say that, it probably makes me certainly think of the acts of mercy. So you've got the corporal acts of mercy and the spiritual acts of mercy. And we'll talk about those in a minute. So just going back to the theme and what the reflection in the book has made me think about, it's again got me going back to the basics which we've been talking about right throughout these reflections, which is about imitating Joseph. And in the book it actually talks about the fact that Joseph was an icon of the Father. And rather than explore that in a way I'd like to, in the same way I'd love to talk about the icon behind us more and about what that actually means, in terms of the St. Joseph being an icon of the Father, it certainly leads us back to this concept of mirror image of God, and that we should be imitating Joseph. But what we haven't done, and we've mentioned that a few times, but we haven't really focused on how. And again, the title of this chapter, Comfort, of the Afflicted, or Comforter of the Afflicted, gives you a clue about what we could be doing to imitate Joseph. And therefore that leads on to nicely onto the acts of mercy. So if we carry out the acts of mercy, we will be imitating St. Joseph. And so just to go over those the acts of mercy. So the corporal acts of mercy, which we're very familiar with, which is feed the hungry, give drink to the thirsty, clothe the naked, shelter the homeless, visit the prisoners, comfort the sick, and bury the dead. We're probably more familiar with those than the actual spiritual acts of mercy. So I'll just list those as well. Teach the ignorant, pray for the living and the dead, correct sinners, counsel those in doubt, console the sorrowful, bear wrongs patiently, forgive wrongs willingly. And we know that Pope Francis introduced another one, which is looking after our common home. So going back to those acts of mercy, again you can Google those and look them up, but essentially if we carry out those acts of mercy in a very virtuous way, again using justice, prudence, temperance and courage, then we'll be imitating St. Joseph. And we too will start to turn into the image and likeness of God, or people will start to see the image and likeness of God in us, and maybe we'll be coming to be like icons of God, especially in our actions. So I'll leave you with those thoughts, and I'm just going to finish off with a couple of prayers to St. Joseph. St. Joseph, my dear Father, gaze upon me from heaven, detach me from the things of earth, obtain for me purity of heart, love of God, and final perseverance. Finally, I'd like to just return back to the theme and focus on comfort of the afflicted. And there's some encouraging word from Pope Benedict XVI, and he's saying, and he's making reference again to the theological virtues of Joseph, but again it's about imitating Joseph. If discouragement overwhelms you, think of the faith of Joseph. If anxiety has its grip on you, think of the hope of Joseph. If exasperation or hatred seizes you, think of the love of Joseph, who was the first man to set eyes on the human face of God, in the person of the infant conceived by the Holy Spirit, in the womb of the Virgin Mary. Let us praise and thank Christ for having drawn so close to us and for giving us Joseph as an example and model of love. We have the acts of mercy. We can look them up and we can try and carry out those acts of mercy, and we will be imitating Saint Joseph and certainly be imitating Christ. Again, lots to ponder about and think about, lots of practical ideas you can start living out explicitly and thinking about. So until tomorrow, God bless.